Good Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us for UpNorthLive Unscripted. Cody Bear and for Melissa joining you this evening. Joe, it seems like, a week that a lot of people may be looking forward to with, have some excitement about, some mild weather, some warmer temperatures.
I mean, this time of the year, what do you want? 10 below and snow, or 40 and some melting, maybe and some sunshine too?
Give me the 40, the sunshine. Man, now we're talking.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we have. I don't know how much sun, although tomorrow some areas will get a fair amount, but it's going to be warm now, Cody, for pretty much the rest of the week. Let's take a live look. This is Petoskey looking to the west where the sun is set now. 34 degrees, calm wind, and it was cloudy for a fair portion of the day over much of northern Michigan, including Petoskey, but you can see skies have cleared. And again, you're looking out over Little Traverse Bay there with visibility in pretty good shape here this evening. There's our satellite picture. A lot of cloud cover early. We even had a few flurries in a couple spots earlier today, but again, the trend has been for some clearing, and you can see that now from near Manistee all the way up to the Mackinac Bridge. Clear skies. South of Cadillac, still some clouds, parts of the UP as well, but we should see at least our southern areas clearing out tonight. And temperatures still mild, a lot of 30s, some spots still hanging around 40 degrees here as of 6:30, and no major travel problems coming up because it's going to be pretty mild. Although there are a few chances for some rain. We'll take a look at all that in a few minutes.
Thank you, Joe. We begin in Lansing tonight with the question of election integrity or voter suppression. It depends who you are talking to when it comes to a bill introduced in the state capitol. The proposed legislation would require photo ID with proof of citizenship in order to register and cast a vote in Michigan. As our Mark Gillette reports, some lawmakers argue it protects residents' right to vote. Other lawmakers argue it takes it away. Either way, a lot of arguments between lawmakers.
I want to applaud you on doing a very good job of creating fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Representative, if you have a follow-up question, you need to ask for permission for that.
I'm just stating facts.
No, my question is, what are you so afraid of?
It's fair to say that things got a little edgy at this morning's Election Integrity Committee meeting in Lansing.
During my speech, when you were laughing and shaking your head, what part of the speech was funny to you or was comical, sir?
I never once did that.
Representative Wolford's speech in support of his House Bill 4765.
Let us pass House Bill 4765 and send a clear message to our citizens that voting matters, citizenship matters, that the rule of law matters, and that the voice of every lawful vote in this state will be protected.
This calls for proof of citizenship to register and cast a vote here in Michigan.
The system as it is today cannot prevent non-U.S. citizens from registering and then voting in our elections, and that we also really don't know how many non-U.S. citizens are registered to vote in our state.
It's similar to the SAVE Act proposed at the federal level, requiring more than just a driver's license to register.
What are you afraid of?
Well, similar to the SAVE Act, some are afraid it creates burdens and hoops to jump through for legal Michigan voters.
Indeed, that most voters currently rely on, that they carry in their pockets, would not satisfy the new requirement. It's not a minor adjustment, it's a structural change.
A change because only 2.2 million of the state's 8.3 million Michigan driver's licenses are real ID and also have the enhanced feature.
What are the onerous burdens and costs that we are going to levy on citizens to take care of an issue that still is not rectified by your problem, and we have other existing laws on the books that are working?
Supporters argue it may be a cost worth paying in order to ensure only U.S. citizens can cast votes here in our state.
Every improper ballot cancels out the lawful vote of a Michigan citizen.
But while admitting the current system isn't perfect, and errors do happen, some question if asking potentially millions of legal voters to take these steps to prove citizenship are worth it to root out something the data suggests is rare.
Our elections are already secure. Michigan law prohibits non-citizens from registering or voting, and multiple safeguards ensure the integrity of our voter rolls. Audits in Michigan and in states all across the country have repeatedly shown the cases of non-citizens voting are exceedingly rare.
Again, in a lot of ways, this proposed bill is similar to the SAVE Act at the federal level, which has passed the House but appears paused in the Senate for now. The bill here in Michigan is still in committee, but there is support from Republican leadership, which suggests it could make its way out of the House. And our question of the day has to do with this story. Our question today is, what level of identification should be required to vote? You can make your voice heard and vote on our poll by scanning the QR code on your screen now, or You can vote on our website, UpNorthLive.com, or our UpNorthLive Facebook page. We'll, of course, take a look at the results later on in the show. Well, as we prepare to spring forward on March 8th, sleep specialists at Munson Healthcare are encouraging us to use the time change as an opportunity to reset healthy sleep habits. To talk more about this, we're inviting on Dr. Abdul Malik, Munson Healthcare Sleep Disorders Center Medical Director. Thanks so much for taking the time with us. Can we go ahead and jump right in? What are some tips for transitioning during this time change?
So how we started is like spring forward. We are going an hour of sleep forward. We wake up a little bit later, but we have to sleep earlier at night. So that means we are losing about an hour of sleep. And based on the data, we know that we have an internal time clock or circadian rhythm, and that circadian rhythm likes consistency. And when you jump an hour ahead, the brain still thinks it's earlier than the clock says. So it gets harder time adjusting to that time change.
Sure, and when it comes to that, you kind of mentioned it there at the end. Some may say, well, it's only an hour, no big deal. What do you say to that?
An hour is a big deal because we are losing about an hour of sleep time and difficulty going to sleep. And that affects, we need at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep at night. If we're losing an hour of sleep, it leads to grogginess in the morning. And that can actually last for 5 to 7 days. And that can increase the risk of accidents, motor vehicle accidents.
And when it comes to, this transition, what are some tips for, cleanly transitioning during this time change to make sure, you're getting enough sleep?
Yep. Usually, first thing is that get enough sleep. Get at least 7 hours of sleep. That is what American Academy of Sleep Medicine will recommend. And when you are having the time change, the best thing is that if you can start sleeping at least 10 to 15 minutes earlier, a week before, those minute time changes actually make a big difference that you are able to sleep on time and get enough sleep when it comes to Monday morning. But usually we go with the same good bedtime routine, make your room relaxing, stick to a steady schedule of sleep and wake up time, limit caffeine in the afternoon. And a little bit of bright light in the morning can help. I mean, if there is sun outside, get some bright light. And that will help us to regulate to that change in sleep time.
Sure. And while we have you here, Doctor, can you talk a little bit about, Munson Healthcare Sleep Disorders Centers and what you guys do?
So Munson Sleep Disorder Center, we treat all different sleep disorders and all magnitude of them. And we have 4 labs. We have one in Traverse City, Charlevoix, Manistee, and Cadillac. And if your grogginess or sluggishness is more than just temporary, 5 to 7 days, and you feel sleepy or you fall asleep while driving or working, we want you to seek professional help and see a sleep physician at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. And doctor, before we let you go, whether it's about this spring forward jump or just the importance of sleep in general, is there anything else that you'd like people to know?
So, exactly, our brain likes the standard sleep time. Yes, it gives us more hours during spring, but it does wreak some circadian rhythm changes in our body for the long term too. So prioritize sleep. It is part of your health.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us, Doctor. Dr. Abdul Malik, Munson Healthcare Sleep Disorders Center Medical Director there, kind of filling us in on some of that. Now in Cadillac, residents dealing with PFAS contamination still waiting on more than $8 million in state funding to connect their homes to safe city water. The grant was awarded in December, but city officials say it still has to clear a series of state reviews. That means surveys and environmental checks, including historic and archaeological assessments, have to be done before work can begin. The Cadillac Utilities Director says some prep work can start, but full construction won't happen until the funds are in hand. In the meantime, residents are relying on filters to reduce PFAS exposure while they wait for a permanent connection.
For me, getting the funding, knowing that it's coming, I'm happy. You know, if they want to take a little longer, as long as we get that funding, I'm happy. I wish it was quicker, but I'm not gonna be mad because the funding took a little longer. I know the residents are worried about this. They have every right to be worried about it.
Dietland says once the funding is finalized, the city can move quickly to connect homes and deliver safe, reliable water. The Antrim County community can get more information on the Public Safety Center project this week. When the Antrim County Board of Commissioners meet Thursday, there will be a presentation from the company hired to help review the project. The information will include the budget and timeline. On November 4th of last year, voters approved officials to borrow up to $18 million in bonds to construct and furnish the Public Safety Center. The Antrim County Board of Commissioners, again, will meet Thursday starting at 10 a.m. in Bel Air. The Sugar Island Ferry has halted operations until further notice due to thick ice on the St. Mary's River. In a message posted Monday evening, ferry officials said a large chunk of ice broke loose in the upper harbor ahead of a tanker's arrival. After the tanker passed through, the ice shifted directly into the ferry's crossing route. Operators say ice now stretches from dock to dock and extends about a quarter mile up the river, completely blocking the usual path. Ferry officials say they are waiting for an ice cutter to begin breaking up the ice, which could create opportunities to resume limited crossings. We have a link to that. We're going to move on now. If you travel US 31 in East Bay Township, you can expect single-lane closures this month. Crews will begin installing a new traffic signal at the relocated entrance to the Traverse City State Park. The traffic signal will be fully activated in late April, and the pedestrian crosswalk will remain closed until the signal is fully operational. This is all part of the renovation project at the park, which is expected to be finished in April of 2027. We're going to take our first break of the show. When we get back, we'll take a look at that warmer forecast with Joe. Stay with us.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.
I'm Dee Dee Catton with the National News Desk in Washington, D.C., and this is your news update.
We continue to use our intelligence and analysis department under the Department of Homeland Security to gather intelligence and cooperate with other intelligence agencies and with the FBI to go after and to prosecute those who would wish to do us harm.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says her department is monitoring for potential threats to Americans amid the conflict in Iran. But she is urging lawmakers to fund DHS amid the shutdown. Noem says over 1,500 known and suspected terrorists have been brought to justice and removed from the country in President Trump's second term. Next, senior officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and War Secretary Pete Hegseth, briefing the House and Senate today on Iran as the country continues to launch retaliatory strikes on U.S. allies. The officials are defending President Trump's unilateral use of military force. Both chambers plan to vote soon on resolutions to limit his authority. Plus, there's this.
I'm done with this. If you guys are doing that, I am done. You can hold me in contempt from now until the cows come home. This is just typical behavior. Yeah, I'm done for now.
Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton stormed out of her closed-door deposition last week after learning Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert leaked a photo to the press, causing the hearing to be paused. The House Oversight Committee releasing video of Hillary and former President Bill Clinton's depositions about convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And that's your news update.
Welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted. Joe, I like snow. I do.
Sure.
But after the last couple of months, it wouldn't kill me to see some of it melt just a little bit.
A little bit. Well, that's what's going to happen here coming up of next week or so. Real hint of spring. It's going to hang around too for a while, Cody, because sometimes you get a warm day and then it's 20 degrees again.
Yeah, it's like a tease.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to Petoskey, and it just looks nice out there. Beautiful evening. With the sun having set 34 now. It was cloudy here. We mentioned that a little earlier. But a beautiful evening, and yeah, some clearing taking place here late this evening. Hardly any wind out there. And here's kind of what happened through the day today. So we woke up, a lot of cloud cover this morning, right in through here. And then with time this evening, these clouds continue to move off to the east of us. And we're starting to clear out here over much of northern lower Michigan. The one exception, and I'll show you this in a few minutes, will be the UP. I think clouds kind of hang on there tonight through tomorrow. Here's the edge of the really cold air way north of us. Here's northern Michigan, Traverse City 41 right now, 37 at Chicago, Kansas City 44. By the way, look at Dallas right now, 84 degrees there in parts of Texas tonight. But this cold air, yep, not heading our way. It's going to stay to the north of us. Let's take a look at the jet stream. So we have a mild flow coming in, and not just the next couple of days. This will carry through the weekend, right into next week. And it looks like next Wednesday, I know it's a ways away and this could change, but that may be the day of change for us when we start seeing colder air kind of working back in here. But that's a week or so away still. There's the snow on the ground, very little downstate. Some here. Well, actually a fair amount still across parts of northern lower Michigan into the UP. But we're going to do a number on this coming up here over the next week. I'm sure we'll see this dwindling somewhat with the mild weather. Meanwhile, some thunderstorms in Illinois and Indiana tonight. We have a front to our north. Not much happening with that. This area of low pressure may bring in a few showers for our southern counties, but not until Thursday afternoon. So in the meantime, there's the cloud cover north tomorrow. Sunshine down here. But everybody will have a dry day for our Wednesday. And the cloud's holding pretty steadfast to the north. And then we cloud back up on Thursday, and here's that next chance for a few showers. Take Traverse City to Alpena, south of there. A couple showers Thursday afternoon and evening, and then those kind of fall apart. And then here's the system coming in Friday late into the weekend, at least the start of the weekend. We do have the chance for some rain. So you see that on Saturday. That's the start of the weekend, some rain over northern Michigan. That departs, maybe a brief shot at a shower on Sunday, and then quiet next week until Wednesday. We talked about that cold air starting to spill back in. Well, here it is. This is a front. I know this is a long ways away, but it looks like rain turning to snow perhaps, and then behind that colder weather later next week. So tonight, a mix of stars and clouds. More clouds north, temperatures in the 20s tonight. And then tomorrow, for the UP, we're going to keep it pretty cloudy there. As a result, a little cooler, low in mid-40s, 38 though at Drummond Island, cloudy skies. In northern lower Michigan, temperatures in the 40s. Now, if we get some sunshine, which we are expecting in spots, we'll see some 50s. 50 at Gaylord, 45 at Petoskey tomorrow. Traverse City on your way to 52, Beaver Island 39, and 50s here, 40s right near Lake Michigan. Sunshine in our southern areas. And there it is, that mild stretch. Look at the 40s and 50s in the forecast right through next Monday. And yeah, we do move our clocks ahead over the weekend.
Thank you, Joe. Coming up in sports, the Red Wings with another game down south against the Predators, plus the Pistons facing the Cavs tonight in a rematch of Friday's overtime thriller. We have what to expect next. Welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted. The Red Wings spending some time down in the Bible Belt after dropping a game to the Red Hot Hurricanes on Saturday, looking to bounce back against the Predators yesterday afternoon. To Nashville we go, where a lot of Red Wings fans still showed up to cheer on their favorite team, and it must have worked because Detroit lights the lamp first. Emmett Finney knocks it in after Mason Appleton gets a shot on net. The Predators power back and take the lead in the second period, but on a fast break here, Lucas Raymond finds the back of the net off an Alex DeBrincat cross, and must be like Groundhog Day because later in the second we see almost the same thing. Wings with numbers, another beautiful cross and score. Albert Johansson gives Detroit the lead. And some icing on the cake here during the empty net. Alex DeBrincat, who had an assist earlier in the game that you saw, grabs another point with a goal of his own. Red Wings win it 4-2. A battle between Eastern Conference contenders and Cleveland tonight. The Pistons are up against the Cavaliers in a rematch of last Friday's overtime showdown. Detroit trailed in that one at home. They were actually down 3 with a few seconds to go. As you see right here, Cavs foul Danis Jenkins on kind of a prayer toss, trying to draw the foul. He made all 3 free throws to tie the game and send it to overtime, and they, of course, went on to win that game. Of note, the Cavs were without Donovan Mitchell and James Harden in that one. Mitchell has been ruled out again tonight, but Harden is expected to play, so we'll see what difference that makes. A win tonight would be Detroit's 4th in a row. We'll have highlights on Up North Live Sports at 11. The Tigers, meanwhile, in the Dominican Republic for an exhibition game. They're playing against the Dominican Republic team as part of the World Baseball Classic exhibition. Pool play in the Classic starts tomorrow night. Today, the Tigers are up 3-1 in the 2nd inning. The tournament runs through March 17th. Tarek Skubal will be in the rotation for the United States team when that one really gets running. A big night tonight in the high school basketball world. Boys regional semifinals, including lots of northern Michigan teams. We'll have scores from those games tonight at 11. That's all for sports for now. Coming up, we'll take a look at our live results for our question of the day. Stay with us.
Salon services are furnished by Epiphany Advanced Academy in East Acme.
Welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted, taking one last look at our question of the day. Proposed legislation in Lansing would require photo ID with proof of citizenship in order to register and cast a vote in Michigan. So we asked what level of identification should be required to vote. 42% of folks said driver's license, 38% real ID driver's license, while 19% of people said enhanced real ID driver's license, and 1% of people said a passport. Taking a look at some of your comments, Jeanne said driver's license. If you're already registered to vote, a driver's license is all you should need, end of story. And Augie said enhanced state identification or passport. Thanks for voting and thanks for commenting if you did. And as always, thanks for joining us for Up North Live Unscripted. We'll see you tonight at 11.